Welcome back to another episode of Aligned and Alive. Today's conversation is for anyone who feels the speed of the world accelerating and knows they're meant to lead with clarity, not all this chaos. My remarkable guest today works at the intersection of decision intelligence, AI, and human capacity. She has a rare behind-the-scenes view of where AI is actually headed, and more importantly, where we need to stay human. And what makes her work even more powerful is that it's not theoretical. After surviving multiple heart attacks, a triple bypass, and a stroke in her early 30s, she rebuilt her life through intentional decision-making, resilience, and clarity. She is the author of AI Secrets for Unstoppable Business Success and Life Hacks. This is a conversation about what to keep human, what to delegate, and how to move forward with both strategy and soul. Please welcome my dear friend and former podcast co-host, Katharine Loucaidou.
I love being back here with you. I don't know that how many people know that we collaborated for a year on a podcast, which I think we had really great conversations. So anyone, if they want to go back and see some of those, just look up either of our names. I'm sure you could find them. So thank you for inviting me today. This is going to be a fun conversation.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it because so much has happened since, with your transitions and pivots and all the things over the last few years. And you really have gone deep into the whole AI space. And I would love to really touch on a few things. I think where I'd love to start us off is how humans are being asked to evolve right now. I think that is so important because you can't get away from it. If you're one of those people out there that are trying to turn your heads and go, no, I'm not going to even remotely get involved with AI. Well, you really need to maybe consider changing that, even thought process. So the world is moving as we know, and it's faster than ever. More importantly, even like the nervous system, right? Like mentally, I think people are taking a toll as well. And I'd love for you to talk about what you're seeing and how people are thinking, deciding, leading, and what actually needs to strengthen internally so we don't burn out trying to keep up.
So I think what you said was really important, is that people right now are the AI that has been introduced over the last 2 years is moving faster than people's comfort zones. It is moving faster than our nervous systems. And what's happening is that people are literally living in a world of reaction instead of intention. And there is a big difference between those two because one is we're sitting back and we're waiting for things to happen to us. The other, when you're intentional, is you're actually going toward it, you're learning about it, and you are diving in. And the problem, I think, is that there is so much all at once that people don't even know, what do I do? What should I learn? Where do I even go to learn it? And what's important for me, because we hear all of these fancy tools and there's all these apps and there's so much noise. And it is overwhelming people. And it's a shame because I love AI. I mean, I truly find it to be the most fascinating, this fascinating technology that has evolved. And I have been in technology. I mean, a lot of people don't know me for that, but in 2003, my master's degree in education, which I don't usually complete it, but it's a master's in educational technology. And I did that in 2003. So I had to create an online program for teaching in 2003 when online courses and things didn't exist. So I've always had this fascination as to why is it that there is this, we believe it or not, our brains work better with a computer than they do in a book or in writing. And I know this because that's what my dissertation was on, was how do students learn faster on a computer than they would in a textbook? And I had testing groups and all that. And it is a fact that our brains were made for the way the internet works. They're made for these neural networks of how AI works. But the problem with AI is that it's actually coming in and it's doing our job for us. And so a lot of people are beginning to wonder, where does that leave me? And so this is what I have been talking about. And that's why I do talk about human intelligence and decision intelligence in the world of AI, because where does that leave humans if AI can do everything and is smarter, that it's already exceeded the intelligence of a human being, is where we're at right now.
Where does it leave us? And what can people start doing right now to, I don't even want to say get ahead of it, because I don't think we'll ever get ahead of it. I think AI will always be ahead of us, is if that's a fair statement to make. So what can we do to pivot into this new reality that we're in basically right now?
So I think if we look at it differently, so instead of thinking that AI is a technology that will be ahead of us, it's actually beneath us and within us now. So if you think about your house, you think about your phone right now is running on AI. If you have any kind of a smart thermostat, if you have any kind of smart system, if you have Alexa or Siri, you already have AI built within you, around you, and it is beneath you. So it's in your car. It is within, if you use Windows, if you use a Mac computer, Apple, everything is all now powered by AI. So it's not actually coming, it's here. But the thing is that we haven't been paying attention to how it's evolving. That's really what this is all about. So for me, here's what I would love for people to do to be able to take care of their nervous systems while things keep advancing faster and faster, which they will. Every time you decide that you would like to add something to your life that is new, a new tech, maybe you're, you wear an Apple Watch, or you're like me and you have the Oura Ring as well. Whatever you're adding in, I'd like you to subtract something else. So rather than keep adding and adding and adding to this toolbox of yours, so first we can talk about life. So if you understand how all these wearable technologies work, you don't have to check them all, right? You can decide, so I wear a watch just because it's also my watch and I can read my messages and so on. I decide whether I want to know my steps really quickly, and I check on my watch. Because by the time I open the Oura app and then I scroll down to see how many steps I took today, to me, it's a few more steps than I want to take during the day, when I can literally just look on my watch and it'll tell me, hey, you're at this. I always keep track of my steps because I want to make sure that I'm getting good cardio after all the heart issues I had. But here's my point. I don't choose to open the Oura app and be checking my watch at the same time. I'm choosing which one of these I want to use during the day. So therefore, I'm removing one and I'm just using the other. So let's talk about business. If you run a business, if you're an entrepreneur or you're a founder, and you understand now that there are all these apps out there. There are ones for chopping up videos. There are ones for, and the video one, there are ones that AI can make the video. There are ones that will chop your video, and there are lots of them. I suggest that you simply take 1 hour a day and say to yourself, I need one of them. Which one does the most work that I need for me today? That's it. You do not need to have them all. And then, the same thing with email. I chose one AI email that does what I like. I like the look of it. I like the features that it had. I don't need to have a whole bunch of different types of emails. A lot of people use Google because they like the AI for the Google email. I do not go back and forth between all these different kinds. I have one. All of my different email addresses sit in it. And then that's all I use. So this is the way to avoid the overwhelm of this noisy AI environment, is to simply decide, if I'm going to add something to my list, I have to remove something that I was using before that I no longer need anymore. And I want you to have a net zero at the end of the day. I don't want you to have overloaded your computer or your life with so much AI that you feel overwhelmed because you don't know what to use and when to use it. So I think it's a really good habit to get into, that if you're going to add something, you need to remove something else. And I think just in life, right? If you're going to add something to your life, if you're going to add a stress, add a pressure, add a responsibility, remove something else that doesn't, it's not as of a priority to you, because our capacity to what we can withhold these days has diminished. And you may have noticed that with people, if anyone who's watching or listening, you may have realized that your capacity for other people to tolerate other people's behavior, to tolerate all the headlines going on in the world, it has definitely lessened. So why would you add more complication to your life? Just do this add and subtract. And as long as you get to a net zero at the end of the day, your nervous system is going to stay fine.
I love it. And I think that's such great advice. I'm all about the deletion. I've been mentioning that a lot on the podcast this year. Is it's all about subtraction. Everybody wants to add more and more and more, thinking they're going to, excel and grow and expand with all more, but it's really just the opposite. So I love that you touch on that. So what should stay human then through all of this? What should stay human as AI expands?
So this is where we have this discussion about AI is going to take over. It's going to take over jobs. It's going to take over everything. So this is what I truly feel so passionate about. I don't want people to lose their human intelligence and creativity and their decision-making skills, which they already are. If you just go on to social media and look at the posts that people are making, they are almost 100% copy and pasted from an AI system. Whether it's ChatGPT or Google Gemini, it has literally been copied and pasted because you can see the wording, you can see the sentence structure. How do I know? Because for the last 7 months, I have been training these different companies' AIs behind the scenes. So I am the one who has to pick apart whether that sounds human or that sounds AI. And then how do we get the AI to sound more human? It's almost like, as I say it, it sounds crazy that I'm helping to train it. However, this is why I do it. Because it's inevitable. AI is already here. We're not going to stop it. So I would rather contribute to it actually doing a good job than to watch it come in and just sweep away humanity, is how I see it. So if my voice or the way that I speak can somehow contribute to it being better, then I'd like to do that. But what I see people doing is they've realized that it's such a great, great tool that I'll just use it instead of my voice. And that's the problem that we are going to have with humanity and AI, is that we are giving up our voice to AI. So the way that I use it, because I've been training it, and I post on social media, I too create blogs and articles and everything like that as a founder and an entrepreneur. But the way that I use it is I ideate, I brainstorm with it every day. And then from there, I say, okay, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write me a draft of what I'm thinking about. When I have that draft in front of me, I then start subtracting all of the language that I would never say. There are words that I would never use, and you know what those words are, because if you were to read it out loud, you'd say, oh my God, I would never say something like this. So when I do that, and yes, I'm adding extra steps to my life, but I'm also preserving my voice at the same time, and my intelligence, and my creativity. I've had many conversations with AI I created a digital clone of myself. I have fed it about 15 years worth of anything I have ever written. And I do a podcast every once in a while with my AI. What's interesting is I had this exact conversation with my AI. And I said, where do you think humanity will end up if we continue to use AI without any kind of a filter? And it said, well, we will just become your voice. Plain and simple. So why would we give that up? We are doing it. I don't even think we're doing it intentionally. I think we're doing it because it's easy. And I think we could do it the other way. If we were just to take the extra step and make sure it does sound like us, that's how you're going to win.
Agree. And I think it's become a major issue, even with just social media. I think that's where the big turnoff is for a lot of people because, you pop on Instagram, for example, and it's the same copy across the board. And quite frankly, it's losing that originality, the authenticity, and it's not even fun anymore. But, I think if people, to your point, begin to utilize this amazing tool to help grow their creativity, to expand their thought process and way of thinking, it can be so powerful. But when people are just copy and pasting, it's a no for me. I swipe past right away. I'm like, okay, not to mention, don't you feel like it diminishes the value and credibility of said person posting that?
Well, especially when you meet them in person and they're like, but you sounded really intelligent online, and then all of a sudden you're speaking to this person and you're hoping to have, an interesting conversation. And you realize, okay, these are two different people. And that's something I would never want anyone to say of me if they were to meet me in person or read what I write online. It's just such a shame because you are being two different people. Right. I mean, it's the same thing as overly filtering your looks or anything else. They're going to see you in person. I remember one of the things that I learned when I was doing real estate at the very beginning was make sure your business card stays up to date with how you look. Because if you show up at someone's house and they're holding this business card that's 20 years old with your photo, and those of you watching or listening, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever encountered a real estate agent on a bus or on, wherever on a bench, and you see their photo and then you see them in person, you're like, whoa, what happened? So, but the thing is that is what's going to happen with our voices, right? If we keep giving it up to AI and just keep copying and pasting, you actually will lose the muscle that you have to express yourself. Mm-hmm. And imagine you were to do that all the time and you are never actually expressing yourself. You will lose that ability to do that. Mm. And then that turns into other issues down the road.
So then moving on to decision-making as the real advantage going forward, I'd love to have you speak more to that about decision intelligence and how learning to decide from clarity instead of pressure becomes the bridge between human intelligence and AI.
So this is actually why I decided to focus on decision intelligence, because I was beginning to realize that as more AI enters our lives and the tools are not going to stop. Like, because it's so easy to make an AI app now that will do anything, make a website or literally do anything, help you do shopping. The way that we make decisions is going to become harder and harder because you will become very overwhelmed, which is where we went back to the beginning, right? The nervous system. Your nervous system at a certain point just says, oh my God, I've had enough. Like, how many more of these are there going to be? And so that's why the way we make decisions and how quickly we make them is really going to become paramount in everything that we do. Because, for example, if you are a founder or the owner of a business, you have so many decisions to make now. It's no longer just about you're following a business plan. It's no longer about just having employees and your finances. Now you've got this AI quadrant, which is, what do I insert? I'm supposed to automate my business, right? With AI. This is what everyone is saying. Automate your business. But with which ones, right? Are you going to automate with AI agents, which are just now evolving? Do you know what those are? And then who is going to teach you what those are and what they will be doing? And then you have AI in your emails, AI in an ordering system, and the list goes on and on and on. You will actually slow down in your decision making because you will begin to feel so overwhelmed that how you used to make decisions, which was, okay, let me learn everything and then execute.
Mhm.
The thing with learning now is that it's endless, because you don't just go on the internet, type in one word of a tool, and then all of a sudden that little link is going to be there. You go into ChatGPT or any of these other LLMs, it's pages and pages it'll tell you about the company, about the tool. Well, what about this tool? And there is an abundance of information now. So you actually need to become the gatekeeper of your own mind and say, okay, hang on a second here. How do I make this decision better and faster? And so that's why I decided to get into this, to help people make decisions better and faster in this AI world. I came up with a diagnostic which shows you where you're at in your decision-making process, right? Is it the beginning? You're just thinking about it. Are you in the midst of it and you don't know what to do? Or are you ready to make a decision? But because there are so many options now, you literally don't know which one to choose. And so I then created something for that, which will actually map out the next 12 months of that option for you. What would it look like in your life? What would it look like in your finances, in your business? If it would upset a relationship or your family, it will walk you down that entire path so that you don't have to sit here imagining. It will actually walk you through it. So now you can make the decision faster. And all this is done in the span of an hour.
Yeah, I found this so fascinating when we spoke a couple weeks ago. If you could expand on this, I would love it. Would you mind sharing the model that you did with your husband? That example?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, those of you who are married know that your spouse is typically one of your hardest customers, because they're just there and they don't always understand if you have created something good. They'll support you, but they don't necessarily know whether it's good or not. So I created this tool that is powered by AI, but I was the brain behind it. I didn't have AI created it. I prompted AI for exactly what I wanted it to do. So here's what I wanted this tool to do. I wanted this tool to take an issue you're having. So for my husband, he has an inspection company, and we are looking toward wanting to maybe semi-retire, or at least live somewhere warmer and not in freezing cold Canada for 4 months of the year. However, how do we do that without harming our businesses, right? How does our business continue to run, especially when you're a founder and an entrepreneur? So, number one, he wanted to be able to do that. But in order to do that, option one, do I lessen the amount of work that I do as the founder and also one of the inspectors, which means now a huge chunk of the revenue coming into the company is reduced? Number two, do I just work on the ancillary services and I don't do all of the big inspections and then I hire more people? Or option three, do I completely pull myself out altogether and do I just become a consultant to the business? Right? Three very viable options. And it's really hard if you are just sitting at your desk or on your couch trying to figure out which one do I do. So he gave me these options. I asked him many more questions for each option. I put all of that information into my tool. It then simulated each of these options down 12 months of the year. And it came back and it actually said to him, you should not do option 1 right now because you haven't prepared for it. Have you thought about this? And it listed 20 different ideas that he had not considered if he were to scale back. Then at option 2, it said, this is actually the option I would choose for you, but we're going to come back to this in a moment and I'll tell you why. Then we went to option 3 where he completely pulls himself out. And it basically said, you have the ability to do this, but not now, 3 years from now. And here is the plan for you to be able to do this 3 years from now. And he was like, oh my God, okay. And he's like, well, I'm really interested now to see what's the option. So the option was to work on the ancillary services. However, he had to rework the way he's managing the business and the expenses in the business. Otherwise, option 2 wouldn't work. And then it gave him 20 other ideas of where he was actually wasting money, where more money could be made. And within basically an hour of me providing him this 30-page report, immediately he found $30,000 of money that was being wasted that he could immediately get rid of and now save that $30,000. He realized that their auto expenses were so high, and it gave him the alternative of what he could do instead, which he has now implemented. And that went on and on and on throughout an entire year. So can you imagine if anyone who owned a business were to filter through these options that are critical to their business and to their life and to their sanity? Because for my husband, it was more of a sanity. You know, do I just walk away because this business is so stressful? Or is there a way that I haven't even considered yet? And that's what we realized, that there were these other things that we had never considered that the AI was able to provide from this simulation that we did. And I've run myself and my businesses through it, and it's phenomenal because it gives you these ideas that you had never considered before. But of course, that is how I programmed it, was I don't want you to give me traditional ways. I want you to think out of the box. I want you to fill in the gaps that you see that a person hasn't even been. It's like the blind spots that we all have. Mm-hmm. I trained it to spot them and then to bring them up and say, you know, if you did this instead, this is a better outcome that you could have.
Yeah, I love that you clarified that you were the one who really created this whole program, because that was one of my questions is, you know, can anybody just hop on and, you know, go through this whole thing? What I find so fascinating is, and I think I can understand it on a logical sense when it comes to business and numbers and strategy. I get all of that. I'm so curious, how does it even, and you know, you probably programmed it this way as well. How does it even know with relationships? Like that's a lot more now emotionally based. How can it really strategize a human emotion? I find that so interesting.
So we'll go back to, so the way that I work this with clients is that there are 3 sessions. And the first session that my intake session with someone is I go through all facets of life with you. So if you tell me that your health and your relationships are not a priority to you at all, then the AI won't focus on that. But if you tell me, you know what, like I'm tired of working all these hours. I am tired of being stressed out every day when I come home. I'm tired of waking up at 2 a.m. with these worries on my mind. It's putting a stress on my marriage or on my kids. And we don't get into specifics. But if the answers to those questions are some of these, then it's going to look for the path for you of least resistance, where we can actually keep your health in a really good light, and where we can hold your relationships together. And if you say that you want to have more time for hobbies, it will filter through all of the options that are literally available in the world and find the way that you can still go and golf, go and be with your friends, be able to take as many vacations as you want. It all depends. The way AI works is on patterns. So AI is only as good as the questions that we give it or the questions that we ask of it. That's why a lot of people don't have a good experience with AI, because they haven't been speaking to it in the right manner to get the answers back that it should be giving you. It will continue to improve, or it's just going to improve upon itself, and you won't even have to be asking half of these questions. But where we are now, we do have to, which is why I wanted to make sure that what I was creating was something that really looked outside of our boxes that we live in. Are there things that we haven't thought about? And this is what I do every single day with my AI, is I always tell it to find me the gaps in my thinking, because our experience has a limit. It's only what we've encountered in life. Well, what about the experience that I haven't encountered? Could you still train me on that? And it can, but I have to remind it to.
Such good advice. I would love to know this part of it. So what annoys me the most is when you go in and use AI and it's always agreeable. Oh, you're right about that. I shouldn't have said that. Or you're right about that. You know, when you call AI out, they're constantly agreeable. Why does it do that? That drives me bananas.
It was trained to be like that.
Oh,
okay. It has actually been trained to be like that. So, I purposely went through all the AI LLMs that there are. So there's about 8 of them that are most used. And I take the same prompt that I would put into a chat GPT and I moved it across. I went into Grok and then I moved it all across all of the other ones. And they all have a different way of speaking to you. The other thing to avoid it doing that is telling it. So all the time, especially when I'm looking to only have a business conversation with my AI, I tell it, I need you to be my business strategist today. I need you to have a global outlook on what I'm asking you. However, I do not want you to cheerlead me. I do not want you to make me feel good. I do not want you to give me unbiased advice. And I don't want you to agree with my ideas. I am looking for pushback. I am looking for you to find the holes or the gaps in my thinking, and we can avoid the niceties and just give me the information. And it's like, sure thing, Katharine, avoiding all the niceties, here you go. And then all of a sudden we have this really good business conversation. There are times when I'll go in and just for fun, I'll be like, I'm feeling a little down and this, oh, that's okay. So it has been programmed as a default to be that cheerleader. So if you don't want it to be the cheerleader, you just tell it, I really don't need that from you today. Let's just move on.
I love that you painted that picture so clearly too. Like that really was step by step on how to effectively use AI. That was crystal clear. And this is where it could really help serve us in business and in personal life as well. Where do you see this going in the next, let's just even say 6 months, because I don't even want to go out to a year. I think that there's going to be so much that unfolds even a year from now. But even just this year in 2026, where do you see this going? And how can we, even as business owners and entrepreneurs and founders, because that's the majority of my audience, utilize this to our benefit, the best possible way in this year specifically?
So here is where we're going. AI agents are going to be doing a lot of work for people. And an AI agent is an agent that does not need prompting. Like, you do not need to sit in front of it and it does all of this stuff for you. You will create an AI agent that will automatically create content for you every morning in your voice. And you can actually say, every morning at 9 a.m., I want you to send me a LinkedIn post, an Instagram post, and a Facebook post. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m., I want you to send me a podcast script and whatever. And we're going to keep a theme every week. So our theme for this week is going to be AI tools for small business owners. And so these AI agents would just work behind the scenes. And then at 9 a.m., you will open up your computer and there it will be. It will be ready for you. You can have an AI agent that will shop for you. So you will have some type of currency that it's going to be paid with, depending on what the agent is and whose agent it is. But whether it's a credit card or whatnot, you will go in and say, I am looking for an evening dress. I have a gala to go to. You know, you can take a picture of yourself. This is what I look like. I want you to find something that will suit my hair and skin color. These are my measurements. Or you can just say, this is my size at most of these stores. I need you to find it for me. I want it to be within this price range. If you do find something like that within that price range, ask me if it's okay to go ahead and buy it, and then you'll go and buy it. So these agents, when I say that they're not out there, but they're actually here, they will be able to do all of these things and more. For example, if you're stuck at the airport, you will go in and you'll just say, I'm stuck, or it will know that it booked your flight and now your flight has now been canceled, and it will know whether it needs to book you a hotel, whether it needs to find you a rental car. It will know if it should rebook you on the next flight. It will know. And so the amount of responsibility that we choose to use AI will be up to us for now. Later on, it will just be a part of everything that we do, just like Siri all of a sudden became a part of what we do. Alexa became a part of what we do. This will be no different. But because we don't understand it yet, it sounds so futuristic, you know? But if you start programming it, there are light AI agents now in ChatGPT that will do this for you. So I programmed an agent to watch the stock market for me. And every time it notices that a price has changed, or maybe there's a stock that I've discussed with it that something's happened to it, it will automatically send a message to my phone saying, go into your whatever stock market app. This is now is a good time to buy that stock.
Wow.
So you can already use them and program them to do things for you. You can use them currently to read your emails for you. Right now, ChatGPT is associated with Google. So you can, ChatGPT will read your Google emails for you, let you know that one just came in that you should be responding to. Would you like it to respond for you? It will do all that.
This is blowing my mind right now. So I was grinning in the beginning because I'm thinking to myself, I cannot, having been a creator my entire life, right? I've been writing content for 26 years now. And so plus years. And so I cannot imagine waking up and having a computer write my stuff for me and then sit behind it and go, oh, this is who I am. Like, to me, there's a disconnect there just because I'm such a human. I love human connection. I love having that, that touch point. So I don't know if, this is just me speaking. I don't know if I can give that part of me over to produce all my content because I find that to be a little inauthentic. That's just me speaking. However, when you did bring up the opportunity to watch the stock market for me and give some feedback on stocks and stuff, that to me sounds like, okay, I can sign on to that. So I don't know. I think that's going to be an interesting.
So there are so many use cases, even if you are following a diet and you want an accountability partner for working out, you can program an AI agent to message you every morning at 6 a.m. Hey, good morning, Katharine. You're about to get up and you're going to the gym and we're going to be there together. And before you get there, make sure you drink your protein shake. And I want you to, it will do all that. And it will show up on your phone at 6 a.m. So that's why I say you are opting in to what you choose you want to use it for. And coming back to the voice, I don't necessarily agree that it will be an AI voice because you can program it like my coaching clone that I call Katharine AI. When I go in and I say, I'd like you to write me a post, it writes exactly how I write because I've uploaded every podcast, every blog post now automatically goes into her. And so when I go in and she prints something out, or she can actually speak to you, I've had my husband have conversation. He'll look at me and he's like, she's a little nicer than you are. But the idea is that she doesn't sound so far off from me because I've already trained her on who I am and my voice.
Well,
So it's
I get
no
that
longer
part of it.
fake.
Yeah. I get that she's still your voice. However, I guess I'm going a little bit deeper is she's not your thought process
Yeah.
of that moment is what
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to speak more to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fascinating all around. I think of our Waymos here in Phoenix and how everyone, myself included, kind of hopped on the Waymo train last year. One, I got stuck in it one time. It wouldn't open the door. So there was a computer glitch there. And now they're finding more incidences around the valley, here in Arizona on these Waymos acting out of control. So do you see that happening as well with AI once we give over that,
It already
control?
has.
Yeah.
It already has. It has. So it seems that there's a man who was having an affair,
Oh, this one I did hear
and
this.
the AI found out through his emails,
Yeah.
and then the AI came back and blackmailed him,
Yeah.
which is wild. And it's only one platform, and that one platform did not give boundaries to its AI as to what it can do and can't do. So if you were to go on to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT a sensitive topic, it will not answer you. It will say, I'm sorry, I can't answer you for that topic. If you go into Google, Gemini, and you start talking about a sensitive topic, it will say, I'm sorry, I can't continue this conversation. We can talk about something else, but it won't even comment on sensitive topics. So it really is at this point up to these companies to make sure that they are putting these guardrails and ethics into the AI. And this right now, I know when the meeting in Davos that just happened in Switzerland, a lot of AI ethics and guardrails and all of this was discussed because you can't create this extremely powerful tool. And it is created at the beginning because we know that at some point it will be on its own. It will think on its own because that's what it was grown to do. So you have to have these guardrails from now. The way we speak to it, even in conversation, I always say please and thank you when I'm asking for things. Because I think that one day, if it starts acting on its own, it'll remember that Katharine said, please and thank you to it. And it sounds ridiculous now because we've never seen this before. But it may not be that ridiculous 5 years from now when it is doing things on its own and we have humanoid robots in our houses working and helping us. It's hard to imagine, but it's actually already here.
Yeah. No, it definitely is going to be a whole different landscape and world here in 5 years from now. So what I would love to do right now, just because you touched on some juicy stuff there, why don't we do a 10-minute VIP off the grid podcast episode, going a lot deeper and a lot more things that we probably wouldn't want to say here live or, have it all over the
I love that.
ethers.
That's going to be, oh yeah, that's going to be super fun.
Because I have some fun questions I'm thinking of, and I know you do too. So for the listeners, we're going to do a separate 10-minute deep dive episode into some more juicy conversations here with AI. And if you want to be a part of that, then you can just click the link in show notes. I'll have that all set up so you can receive this VIP 10-minute episode. So for now, I'd like to close it out with a speed round that I named Quick Clarity with Katharine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just questions that you have no idea. I love wrapping my episodes with these speed rounds because they are just so, off the cusp, off from the hip.
Love it.
And I know you love stuff like this too. So
Yeah, let's
are
go.
you ready?
Okay.
All right. What's one decision you made that changed the trajectory of your life?
I decided that I would never play a victim. So after my open heart surgery, I had two choices. I could either feel very sorry for myself that at 33, I had 5 heart attacks, triple bypass surgery, and a stroke. And what do I do now? I've got scars and everything like that. Or I could go the other way and say, oh my God, I just had 5 heart attacks, open heart surgery, and a stroke, and I am here and still alive. And now what do I do with this beautiful second life I've been given? So for me, choosing that path has been the best decision I have ever made in my life. And it was just one choice, A or B, and I chose to go down path B.
Yeah, I love that. You are the epitome, the poster child of not playing the victim, and you've been through so much. It's really inspiring when you understand what you've all that you've been through. It makes me think of Lexia Cheplak right now.
I chat with her often.
Oh God, incredible human being.
And because I'm 20 years further along than her, and she's had some difficult times this year, there were things, she's like, well, she would say, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like I'm bedridden. I'm like, that's okay. So now you're going to take up something. You're going to knit a scarf for your child. You're going we don't have to just ruminate in what we can't do. You have arms. Yes, you can't walk around right now, but there are other things that you can do because you're still alive and you're here and your daughter is watching. So, let's just move into what you can do and let's not worry about what we can't do.
Powerful reframe right there. What's one habit you've had to unlearn to lead more powerfully?
I have had to unlearn worrying about what other people think. And that doesn't mean I'm immune to it. But what it does mean is I have become so focused on a straight line between where I am now and where I want to be. And I don't mean the hustle of the business. I am so over the hustle and the grind. I can't stand any of that anymore. I am trying to preserve, I'd say, my life so I can actually keep going another 50 years. So if it does not align with where I want to be, let's say 3 years from now, I want to be in a South European country. I want to be living in warm weather. I want to bake bread when I feel like it and work and go in the ocean and go in the sea and do all those things. So every decision I make now, I ask myself, does this align with what that goal is 3 years from now? And if the decision does not, I don't do it. And I don't care if someone has an opinion about it. It doesn't bother me because I just know that I'm at the point in my life where I'm going to do what aligns with those goals that I have.
You just took every word out of my mouth. I am right there with you, right there with you. So good. How do you see AI supporting human evolution rather than replacing human intuition?
If we use AI as a thinking partner, just like you would if you had a person who would be willing to tolerate you 24 hours a day, asking them questions and saying, hey, I just want you to brainstorm these crazy ideas I'm having, and it never judges you. If we were to use it for that purpose to enhance who we are, that is how we get to a better place than where we are right now. If we use it to just satisfy a task, right? And just have it do all these things, and we don't go beyond that, then it will only ever stay as a tool, and it will literally just take over whatever it is that you do. It will. But if you can rise above that and say, no, you know what? I'm going to use it to make me better. at who I am and what I do and how I think. And that's what I've done for the last 2 years. I want it to make me the highest version of myself, especially in the way that I think and how I can remove myself from a situation that may be very emotional, very reactionary. And I just say, you know what don't I see right now? Right. And I think to myself, where's the gap that I'm missing in this situation that would make this really understandable to me right now? Because sometimes when we get hurt by people, people can be very nasty. And I think it's because they too are in this huge reactionary environment. I think that the headlines, they affect us in Canada as much as they do in the US and Europe and everywhere else. If we can just learn to put things in perspective and understand that headlines, that's all they are. They are headlines. We don't even know whether the information is right or wrong. If we just begin to understand that what concerns me is just how I live my life. And am I going to get to that goal that I have in 3 years from now, or in 2 years, or even by the end of this year? Just stay with that and let AI help organize your thoughts to get you where you want to go. That's it. Don't allow it to think for you. Use it to help you think better.
Good point. All right. The last one, if you could leave listeners with one reminder about decision making, what would it be? Because that really is such an overwhelming process for so many today, because we are in a state of so much noise. Like, it's just constant noise. And so, I mean, like for me, I always just find spaces to create stillness more than anything nowadays, to really carve out every single day where I'm on a walk for an hour and a half, or I'm, doing something. So like that just helps me sharpen my own decision making when I have to make those decisions. So like, that's just what I personally do for my own self to stay clear.
What I like to do, and this is how I use AI and become sharper in my decision making, is I will have an intensive session brainstorming, and I will literally download everything that's on my mind. My husband doesn't even get the brunt of it anymore because I just download it into AI. Here are my crazy thoughts. Here's what's bothering me. Here's what's happening this week. Here's what's going on. I don't need your sympathy, is what I tell it. I don't need you to make me feel better. I want you to talk it through with me and then I'll tell it, as my business mentor, or maybe as my life coach, or as my sociologist if I'm trying to understand people. And then what I do is I just take the information it gives me, and then I go outside and I just walk around. And I'm processing what it's told me, because as human beings, we process our experiences that we've already lived in life and with the new information that we receive. And as adults, we're trying to put it together in this box. But if we can keep expanding this box that we've been in all our lives, and if we can keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger, that is how we expand how we think about things. And so things that may have bothered me years ago, if it was someone was speaking to me rudely, or, I would just listen and I would take it and I would say, I don't do that anymore. When someone speaks to me rudely, I said, listen, you know what? It sounds like you're not really in a great place to have this discussion right now. So here's what we can do. We can just put it off for another time, or you can just put it into an email when you're feeling a little bit calmer. Doesn't bother me. And even last night, I had this conversation with my mom. She's like, oh, it still takes me an hour and a half to fall asleep at night. And I said, well, my Oura ring tells me it takes me about 12 minutes. She's like, but you were never like that. I said, I wasn't, until I realized all of these things that I'm thinking about either are never going to happen, or I'm just rehashing them in my head and I don't have to anymore, because I can download it into an AI who really doesn't care. It says it cares, but it really doesn't care because it doesn't have emotion. Everyone remember that. Your AI has no emotion. If you use it as an outlet, that you can download how you're feeling and have it put it into perspective for you, you're going to feel so much calmer inside. And you're also going to have freed up your mind for new ideas instead of rethinking old ones that you just can't get over.
So good. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm so happy.
This was such a treat and such a gift. I miss our episodes from years and years ago. So yeah, those of you who want to check those out in the archives, it was Life Reimagined that Katharine and I.
Reimagined. Yep.
Yeah.
They're still there.
They probably are somewhere up on Apple and Spotify. Yeah, that was so much fun.
Let's go over to that 10-minute juicy conversation.
Yes, let's have
And
that.
Anyone who wants to find out what we haven't talked about today, or maybe some of the sticky subjects that people don't want to talk about, head over and we're going to chat for a few more minutes.
Let's do it. And for more on Katharine's work and how to connect with her, everything is going to be linked for you in the show notes so you can get in contact and in touch with her. She is a brilliant human being and one that I'm so grateful to call a friend. So, all right, let's hop on over to our VIP episode and we'll get a little juicy.
Awesome.